So first thing what I want to say is like for all the supporters out there, thank you for listening. And if we have been adding value to this podcast, then hey, that's what this podcast is all about. We just want to make sure we get you to, when we have our guests, we dropping gems and we're getting to make sure you guys get the information so you can apply to. So yeah, other than that, TC got something to say?
We just trying to spread out the black love. like the chocolate men we are. We try to spread out that dark chocolate to everybody.
But you a little light. You all right there?
Don't do that. Don't do that. You know I'm a shade like a chocolate chip cookie, okay? I'm in the middle. Okay? Don't do
that. Man. They say you caramel out here.
I think that.
But so we really appreciate for all our listeners and supporters, we really do appreciate.
Yes.
If you have been supporting us, what you can do is either you could sponsor our podcast. If you want to sponsor, it is DC. You can email us at DC incentives for the number 4 at gmail.com. Or you can
Rich, so it's DC incentives the number 4 at gmail.com.
4 DC incentives 4 at the number 4 at gmail.com.
Okay. So not the word.
I just don't want our 5 listeners to be confused.
Yeah. So the word 4.
Hey man, we got more than 5 listeners.
Oh no, hold on. So is the word 4 or the number 4?
Number 4.
The number 4.
I'm confusing y'all, my bad.
But another thing where you could support us is, let me share my screen. So you can go to the DC Incentives podcast on Anchor.
Yes.
And what you can do is you can listen to episodes. We are also on iHeartRadio. We're also on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, whatever you can think of. So also, we also appreciate your support. If you want to, give a donation a month, we'll make sure that if you doing if you want to do $1 a month, we really appreciate it. It's that $1 a month is not too much to hurt. I'm saying if you really support this podcast. Also, we if you donate $1 a month, we will also make sure that we are creating value to you as a listener. That way, you can get the information and the advice that you need for $1 a month. If it's $5 a month, hey, listen, we need, man. Like I said, we still a podcast that's still growing. So $5 a month, listen.
Growing is an understatement. We are a petri dish right now. We basically are microscope. You know what I mean? Right. We're just microbes. We're microbes right now. So any dollar could help.
Absolutely.
If you guys are able to, we greatly appreciate it. And also, too, please leave a message. Let us know how we're doing. Yes. If you got any questions, we gladly will answer. And we'd like to hear from you guys. We want to be like a whole family here,
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
The beauty about joining the DC Incentives podcast from this point is that we're so small, you can just reach out to us personally, and you are guaranteed a response.
Oh, yeah.
That's facts.
What Mr. Rogers says back in the day? You my neighbor, like something like that. You can be neighbors, okay? That's how
that is facts.
Don't mind me. But like, talk to us. Let's communicate.
But seriously, to our audience members, your comments are going to be the reason why we're successful in the future. So any sort of feedback, whether you think our intros are too long, whether you think our conversations are too short, any sort of criticism, any sort of thoughts about what you would like added or taken away from the podcast, any sort of criticism would help us help you have a better listening experience with us.
Mm-hmm.
You guys aren't just listeners, you're members of this podcast, but just having your voice heard. So, say as much as you want, don't hold back. We appreciate any sort of feedback.
I got even better. Like Vin Diesel says in the Fast and Furious movies, we're family. Okay.
Oh,
Facts. Definitely fair. We should create a membership, like a Facebook group membership.
Oh, can we just call it family? Like Vin
family,
Diesel?
right?
Let's put a space
DC
on it.
Incentives family, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
We don't need donations when we have family.
Of course. We think so. Yeah.
We could also shout you out on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yes.
And hey, we could do also. We could have a time that we could have like make episodes like this and have viewers come.
Yes.
Have a brief little conversation with them.
Yes, absolutely. Not only that, but you as a guest also, what you can have a direct questions to the person that we have you. I'm sorry, you as the audience, when we have a guest, you can be the direct person to ask them questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Myron, don't be surprised to come to you asking with the drip out outfit at.
Right.
I'll get drippy when I can afford to get drippy. What happens when you guys give us some donations for this podcast? You know what I mean? If you want to see me get drippy, you gotta cough up some dough.
All right. Yeah. All right. That's about it. So, let's get into it. Anything y'all want to? Because I got something on my mind. I want to talk about this whole. I feel like the last conversation we had, right? Me and T, and this is the beginning. Nyron, you wasn't in the show then, right? So in the beginning of the show, we was talking about how 2020 was a year of a lesson learned, right? And we was talking about things of what we need to be thinking of, things of what and like an average person wouldn't think of, like how to read maps, how to grow your own food, how to, karate, like how to, do karate or, fight or defend yourself or something. You know what I'm saying?
Basically tools you need to survive the apocalypse.
You can say that. You can say that. But what I'm saying is 2020 was the year, like I said, was the year of a lesson learned, right? Okay. So now there's rumors going around saying, oh, this world, the US might shut down again, or this world might shut down again, right? When then they talking about the Delta variant, and they got the COVID-19, the numbers is going up, and the only thing I keep hearing in the news is vaccine. Let
me just say this. Are we surprised?
No.
We kind of knew like this is going to repeat again. I remember, I think I said on the show, I was like, do you think we'll be out the water? As soon as we get comfortable, Rona's going to come by and be like, hey, fam, you passed, go, about $200. Guarantee what's happening.
Well, I mean, if we want to start off this conversation with the vaccine debate, which is what I feel like we're about to head into, before we even get into that, how was the map learning and the karate? Do you know some karate chops now? Do you know how to read a map? Or what lessons did we actually learn in 2020?
Okay, so I'm saying there's a lot of people, Nyron,
listen, DC incentives, can we read a map and can we karate chop?
I ain't gonna lie about that. We got you.
So we can't karate chop and we can't read maps. We're still stuck on ways.
I can karate chop. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen.
You can?
Hold on. Except what Nyron is saying. these are we're giving advice of saying like these are stuff that you can consider learning as an advice, because so many times when we go out somewhere, we are so into our phones, GPS. Every time we go out somewhere, we don't know where we're going on top of our head. We don't have a map. So what
let's
we
put
gonna
it this
do?
way.
We're gonna put that GPS, that address, and that we were like, oh, okay, let me get this. Depending on the address.
Let's put it this way.
Come on now, Naron, talk to me.
No, I got you.
To me.
Let's put it this way. The best way to put it, we take things for granted.
I'm glad you said that. It's because now that things were opening up, a lot of people took things for granted. 2020 was the year that you should appreciate things that you should appreciate things that you had.
Okay, I get that. I really do. But all that just seems like talk because we still can't read a map and we cannot karate chop. What advice could we give if we aren't following our own advice? You know what I mean?
You know what? I love what Naron is saying.
I believe it's what my contemporaries would call facts.
I love what Naron is saying.
I karate chop this now, by the way.
I love it. No. I really love what Naron is saying. He's saying, Naron is saying, and this is good for our listeners. This is definitely good for our listeners. Put your money where your mouth is, and shut up and get it done.
Right.
Just get it done.
Honestly, for our audience members, a perfect example is what we're doing now, right? We want to produce good content for the 5 people listening right now. And even if we might not have like our own guests to interview, we want to make sure that we still produce high quality content. So even if we don't have anybody to interview right now, you're hearing our voices. We're getting it done. We're still putting our voices to your airwaves. And that's all we could really do. You know what I mean? And I think we should apply that mentality to every other aspect of our lives. If you want to do something, planning and talking can only get you so far. That's part of what 2020 taught me, right? When the pandemic first started, I'll never forget, when the pandemic first started, I was around 250 pounds, and I had just got my job at S&P Global. And it was the first week that I was sent home, not knowing whether I'd be back in the office. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe that we were in an environment where the world is shutting down. It felt like I was in a movie. So what I did was I looked at what everybody else was posting on Facebook, and I got a lot of wows, and I can't believe this is happening. What I did was I ran around the park every day.
Same.
And I made that my habit because talking about the virus wasn't going to help me, but putting myself in the best position possible health-wise so that if I contract the virus, I could increase my chances of survival were the only things I was thinking about. You know what I mean? So I think that being someone of action is a rigorous process. It's a discipline. It's something that you have to work on every single day. And I can tell that a lot of people haven't done it because we still can't read maps and we still can't karate chop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like what you said, Naran, because what 2020 taught me, it taught me how to be more still and realize like, you're home now. Do something that you wasn't able to do before. It sucks. Yeah, it's a virus out there, people dying. But try to look at the brighter side of things and really try to like look at something that you always wanted to do.
Yep.
Like a good example, like you say you used to run around stuff. I used to go to the park religiously. Yep. Because one, who want to be stuck in the house all day? It's tiring.
Right.
To go outside, go to the park, walk around. I still go outside, try to learn what recipes to cook more, even bonding more time with my mom, because you'd be so busy at work doing the rat race, especially in New York, that when you slow down for a bit, you realize like, hold on, I need to slow the hell down. I'm missing so much around me.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's
What,
crazy.
what's sad is that it took a global pandemic for you to realize how much of your life you were wasting in an office, how much time you haven't really utilized.
But you gotta understand that last year was the best. A lot of people's gonna say, I'm not gonna say the best year, but it was the year that you get to breathe.
To
You
be
feel what I'm
you.
saying? It was the year, like really, like you get to really mentally think. And like that's why it's so important to have alone time, is because alone time it's very important to have alone time, is because you get to self-reflect, and then you be like, all right, hold on, let me talk to myself real quick. Some people say, hey, let me talk to God real quick, let me talk to my consciousness real quick. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important to self-reflect in ourselves. 2020 was that year to do so. And it looks like some people already forgot what was, about what's going on. They forgot even what is essential and what is non-essential. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
No, it's
and
easy
this
to
is
fall back.
why, uh-huh.
Easy to fall back to the old habits. Again, I ran
that's
around
all
the
it
block.
is.
I literally lost 30 pounds. Today, every single pound that I lost is on my body. I shit you not. It looks like I did nothing. It looks like I did nothing
Mhm.
because I lost my habit. I lost the urgency of staying healthy. I got comfortable. Human beings have a tendency to get comfortable, and when they get comfortable, they fall back into the habit that got them into a position of discomfort in the first place.
Exactly.
And I'm no exception to the rule. It's a constant battle every single day.
But here's a good thing I want to say about
Discipline though.
you. You at least recognize it. A lot
Yes.
of people would choose not to recognize it. They know that's the truth, but nah, I ain't true.
Hmm.
That's what you say. Nah, you just realize, like, look, I'm
Mm-hmm.
fucking up.
Yep.
Let me get back at and play some ball. No, it's facts. Like, I'll be telling myself that sometimes. I be sitting here, I'm just like, yo, I really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to
Yeah.
make a difference. I ain't gonna do it today, but I'm gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
do it this week. Like, you have to have these talks with yourself. And like what Diamond said, self-reflection is so important. And at least in 2020, that brought that to a lot of people. And also, too, 2020 did one thing. It showed people are they really happy in certain relationships they're in.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
That's how much people broken up during the pandemic because they got to see who they're really talking to.
Mm.
And that's a lot of people ain't ready for that, but it happened. It happened.
Some people is also talking about the pandemic, like, oh, this is boring. I know what to do. I want to go
Man,
outside, blah, blah, blah.
I was
Man,
chill.
listen,
I was
just
chill.
breathe. Just breathe. But now outside is opening now. We forgot all about that. We
Fam.
ready to party. We ready to do all everything.
I was getting paid, not to blow, but I was getting paid to stay home. I had these babies on me. Like
Facts.
I was chilling. Like I want to go outside. I walk to the park. I come back. I'll be back in my man cave. Like
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
Yeah, no, for me, COVID wasn't that easy. Um,
yeah,
First of all, I wasn't getting paid to stay home. Like the government wasn't paying me to stay home because I just got that job at S&P. So
hmm
what was disheartening was that I was working for S&P and getting paid less per week than the people that were
yes,
collecting
that's true.
employment.
Yeah,
Yep.
That was an eye opener. That
yeah,
was an eye opener.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
but I had this mentality of I have to keep working and I have to earn this paycheck that's less than the people around me because it felt better earning something that required work. Like you had. I think the American mentality is you have to develop this facade of I'm earning my pay, and even if that pay is less than the person next to me, at least it shows that I'm sort of valuable because I'm doing this work, which is bonkers. It's a
yeah,
bonkers mentality, you know what I mean? But it was the truth. It was the truth. And it was disheartening. And what I part of the reason why 2020 was stressful is because in addition to the job that I had working from home, I got that pressure to work a second job and maybe even try to find a third one. You know what I mean? In the middle of a pandemic, it was not easy. It was
Yeah.
not easy. It was very, very stressful. But
So let me ask you now, Ron, since you want to talk about survival of the apocalypse.
Right.
What happened if it actually happened?
Oh,
Right?
well, well, if it happened, I'm a dead man because I'm asthmatic.
Here we go. You heard this, man. This is why we talk about things that is important. These are things that important.
But
Karate
Diamond,
chop.
let me just tell you right now, out of us three,
I can't karate chop because I can't breathe, Rich. I'm asthmatic.
Naron, tell me if you agree on this part. Out of us three, you're the only one that's going to survive.
Who? Rich?
Naron's asthmatic. I got a bad back. Which you
Yeah.
good. You
Yeah,
fit.
you got no excuse.
Not really.
You got no
There's a
excuse.
lot of things that people don't know of what I have that I don't expose myself to. Mhm.
So let me ask you this, Rich.
That's
Let me
true.
ask you this, Rich. If
You
society
mean
breaks
Cass?
down right now and all the pharmacies in the United States are shut down, could you survive without a pharmacy?
But now look, that's a good. No. That's good. No, that's definitely good. What Nyron said.
I noticed you did not give me a direct yes or no answer. It's a
I was
simple
waiting.
yes. No. It's a yes or no, man.
Right now,
Right now,
no.
pharmacies all gone.
Hold on. No. Right now, no. Because I am growing my food in training. Soon as I master it, tell me. Yeah.
Hey, why you hit him with the bars like that?
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't gotta do that to him. He's innocent, man. He ain't gotta do that to him. He's waiting for you to say that.
See, the problem is, I had your mentality last year, Rich, and this is how I realized I was screwed, pandemic or no, because I was running every day. I was running every day from like February to I want to say June, and I lost those 30 pounds, and I was trying to keep myself healthy while trying to find another job. It was a lot, but I'm in the middle of running one day, and I'm finding tightness in my chest. It was hard for me to breathe.
Mhm.
So it took after a couple weeks, I go to the doctor and I go, doctor, listen. I go to my pulmonologist and I said, listen, I've been running every day. I've been eating healthy. I've been losing a lot of weight, and I still can't breathe. And he looks at me and he goes, you're asthmatic, dummy. No matter what, you are going to need medication for your lungs. And then I realized, oh, my health is completely tethered to society. If society collapses, so does Naira. That's when I knew I was screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you good still. You can drive a car, right?
You still,
You
you know
still
what?
do-
We need, you know what? Just for you, Nyron, we're gonna have a health. Maybe we could bring back Jacquea Paul. Maybe we'll bring back Jacquea Paul.
That Naron
That-
meet?
Nah, Nyron didn't meet her.
Okay.
So someone that's a health motivator or a coach or something. Because I feel like when we get these things in our bodies, I think some of the things is because we constantly it could be natural things also, but also some things happen to us is because of our eating habits also.
Eating habits,
Yeah,
your
no, that's
environment.
fine. You don't understand. I really fixed it all. Like I made myself not necessarily a health machine, but I put myself in the healthiest position possible. And just because my lungs felt like inflaming, I still couldn't breathe. It was, it just let me realize the limits of what I really do need society in order to survive. I'm not one of those people that could say I can live off of the earth, and if everything collapsed, I'd be okay. I know I wouldn't. You know, I know I
None of
wouldn't.
us wouldn't. We need the earth.
None of us
No,
know
no, no,
agriculture.
no. I'm not saying we need the earth. I'm saying we need society. Like the 21st century inventions that we've been surrounded by, and all of the innovations from the 20th century, from vaccines to improvements in my asthma medication to improvements in people with for medication with people with tons of different ailments, including hypertension and diabetes. These are the things that keep us moving forward. And without them, the significant population of the globe, quite frankly, would disappear. You know,
That's a
within
fact.
the next 10 years.
That's a fact. I never said medications and I never said never take medications and what the doctor prescriptions of what they give us. I never said that. Never said that. But what? People still if someone had Claritin or Benadryl on them, I would still say you need to take Claritin or Benadryl, then make sure you take some natural remedies with it. It's a fact.
I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, people have chronic conditions that you just gotta take your medication for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can find the best herb in the world, but it's a herb. It's gonna take it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what 2020 taught me. 2020 showed me my mortality.
Well, Nara, how was when the doctor told you that, how was your mental state?
Oh no, I was fine. How do I put this? My asthma has put me in emergency rooms my asthma has put me in emergency rooms, I would say on average, within the last 10 years, at least once a year. So, to be back there after I put in all that effort wasn't necessarily disheartening, but it was sort of the final nail in the coffin for me to realize no matter how healthy I placed myself, no matter how healthy I tried to get, there's always going to be a part of me that might need medication for my lungs. And right now, the current battle I'm trying to fight is hypertension because apparently that's coming down the pike. And I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I don't end up with hypertension because once you have it, and you're going to be dependent on a pill for the rest of your life. And despite that, I just finished having Burger King. So what the hell do I know? You know what I mean? What the hell do I know? I'm putting myself in the worst position.
I do want to say, I'm happy you said this one thing. You're trying to find ways to still make it work out for you.
Facts.
Yeah, you have these problems, but never stop trying to be healthy.
Yep.
That will never stop until the day you die. You want to keep eating healthy as much as you can.
Yes.
If that means you trying to lean towards eating a fruit a day, that's a step. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be honest. When I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and stuff, they said, "Yo, homeboy, you can't eat beef." I'm just like, huh? I like burgers. What are you talking about? I could have gone to cold turkey. I still ate that shit. But then I started really feeling it and understanding it. I said, no, I have to lean off it. It comes with time.
Yeah.
Because going cold turkey is gonna make you go insane.
And when I had my hypertension scare for a good month, I ate pretty healthy. But some things happened in my own world in the last month that sort of set me on a little bit of a spiral. And I'm trying to get my healthy eating habits back. But it's not easy. It's so easy to fall back.
It's not. It's like working out at a gym. It's hard to be disciplined.
Yep.
It really is.
Like I was going to the gym religiously at the beginning of this year. Then work came through, and part of it too, I'm making excuses.
Yep.
But it's hard because we're so used to doing something like the normal thing you normally do. So when you try to put some kind of change in your life, it's like you're welcome to do the change, but it's like, you wasn't here before, so why am I gonna listen to you?
Right.
So don't feel bad. It takes time. And
yeah, I don't necessarily feel bad. I just feel like because I'm approaching 30, I feel like I'm racing against the clock.
Let me tell you something.
Ooh, say that again, Nyron.
I'm racing against the clock for my health anyway. For my biological health, I feel like I'm racing against the clock.
Let me tell you something. Even though, hold on, Diamond. Even though what you said is kind of true, because you get older.
Yeah.
Don't let that pressure you also. Cause I just turned 30 a couple of weeks ago, and I still feel like I'm like a dumbass 20-year-old.
I'm 29.
You know?
I'm 29.
You're 29. You practically dirty yourself now. You know?
Yeah.
Just try to do the work you can now so you don't even got to worry about it later on. Because remember, put in your mind that age is just a number. Don't
I
let them
did that
chase
for a
you.
lot of things. I've done that with my career. I've done that, well, in terms of finding a stable career, in terms of the money I make now, what I'm doing for my income. I've done that.
Mhm.
And I'm comfortable with that. And I've had a healthy support system of a lot of people who happen to be older than me that always constantly remind me of how young I am, relatively speaking. I don't know how to pick this up because we lost recording. Again, these are early days of the DC Intensive podcast. If this was a car, we're basically driving my 2005 Ford Focus. Things are breaking down. We're still trying to navigate through this. But to get back to my hypertension story, to make a long story really short, I found out that if I continue with the habits that I have now, there's a real chance, but by the time I'm 30, 31, I could have hypertension. So the biological clock is ticking, and I just keep that in the back of my mind. I every time I eat a burger, every time I eat something salty, I think to myself, this could be the thing that puts you over the edge permanently to permanently depend on another form of medication. You know what I mean?
You know why your mom is probably so calm when she's telling you this? Because sadly, this is a normal thing in the Black community.
Yep.
But the moment she said it in the calm way that she did, and me recognizing what hypertension is, I knew exactly what it was. It's just like the
Hmm.
people that talk about, oh well, you're gonna get diabetes when you're 30,
Yeah,
35. It's like,
Yep.
okay,
like
Yep.
my mom one day, she's saying, "Oh yeah, I got arthritis." I'm looking at her like, "Why is it like you want to talk to me about it?" Like, I got it. It's okay. What? It's not okay, but it's something in our community that we all go through, sadly.
Yep.
And at least one thing I could say that you're on the right track about, you are aware.
Yep.
So you could
yeah,
literally make a change. It's up to you. Because when people
right.
get hypertension, diabetes, all this stuff like that, it just sneaks up on them. They didn't know.
At
So,
least, at least, I got a warning a couple months ago. Like I
yeah.
still, like, and for the first, but I would give myself credit for the first 3, 4 weeks. I had nothing but salads and oatmeal, and then I slowly came back to doing the things that put me in a position to get hypertension. And I fell back hard. I'm talking about burgers. The only healthy thing that I like eating going out is sushi. You know what I mean? But besides that, it's the burgers, it's the tacos, it's the fast food drinks. It's
How
a
about
whole lot of.
this? You like burgers. Try to substitute a burger. Instead of
Yep.
having a beef burger, try to have a turkey burger.
Yep. So we had a guest on the podcast. She's like a celebrity to us. She's like, her name is Sade Burrell. She's a
Yeah.
celebrity to us. She said, whatever you eat, like tacos, burgers, mayonnaise, see if you could replace that with something healthy. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Like if you eat mayonnaise, if you spread that mayonnaise on that burger bun and all that, replace that with avocado.
And
No,
that's
believe it
it.
or not, I can. I know I can, and I did. I really did. Like I had no problem doing it. I just I'm not going to talk about the personal things that are going on that's going
You
on with
don't
me in
have
the
to.
podcast, but some things set me back emotionally. So now I have to like pick up the pieces and try
And
to.
I was gonna say that like stress will normally do that to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stress will literally like it's like the rewind button. When you stress out, you go back to your old ways because that's what you know and that's what makes you comfortable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When I first
Oh,
bit into the
yeah,
burger, I felt at home. I felt at home.
yeah. And but you know it's not good. It's like, oh, that Whopper. Oh man,
That's
hate
exactly what I
myself in the
had.
next 2 hours.
That's exactly what I had.
Yeah.
They came
I
with me like
know.
Whopper. It has like a bite to it. They put jalapenos in it.
Man, that
I
char grilled. You get a little onions on there.
oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
mad we
yeah.
talking about burgers.
No, if Burger King, man, you ever see the medium-sized drinks?
I'm mad we talking about burgers.
Yo,
The
the
artificial
medium-sized drink,
drinks.
it's like this size, bro. America.
Oh my god. You know what's
I'm talking.
sad? You know what's sad, gentlemen? It's knowing that there's things out there that could prevent illness. And then people looking at knowing that information, still choose to go down the path that would incur that illness. Isn't that sad? Right?
That's not the
So
word.
if we all agree it's sad, why are we not all vaccinated? Let's talk about that one.
Because we don't trust the government.
Because we don't trust the vaccine. What do you mean? Like,
What do you mean?
and come on now.
Here's my problem with it. You guys know the football player Deshaun Jackson. He's a prime example. You know the football player Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah.
Plays for the Baltimore Ravens. Anyway, he got COVID in the middle of the NFL season. Experienced COVID, had to sit out. Made a huge impact on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did he get COVID again, like the last, I think this week he got COVID again. He got COVID this time around, and still isn't going to take the vaccine after getting COVID for the second time. And I'm just thinking to myself, think about all the things in society that we do to make sure that we live healthy lives. Like the pharmacies we just discussed. If you can go to a pharmacy and get medication for whatever ailment you have, why can't you go and take a preventative medicine to make sure that not only you, but your loved ones are also protected?
You know why? Because I think how when COVID first started, it's kind of sus when you think about it. COVID started out, nobody knows how it spread out, first off. They're saying it's on surfaces, they're saying it's on the bottom of your sneakers, they say it's 6 feet apart, 3 feet apart. They're giving us all this information. We got no cure. Out of nowhere, let's say 6 months down the line, 4 months, oh, we got a vaccine. Bro, you just told me you had no cure. No, don't worry about that. We got a vaccine. And it's just like, well, damn, okay.
There you go.
What's it made of? Oh, we can't tell you.
Oh, that's not how that happened.
In my world, it looked like it happened like that.
You know what I mean?
So let's talk about this whole vaccine, right? Well, honestly speaking, I don't really like talking about sensitive things that are sensitive to the society. And then you get to, just because of something you don't like out of your opinion, they tend to cancel you. You feel what I'm saying? So, my thought process is this: whether you are vaccinated or not vaccinated, I understand why people do not want to get vaccinated. You got to understand where people are coming from that don't want to get vaccinated. Plus, if you really do some critical thinking, you can understand that you're like, hold up, what's the purpose of me taking a vaccine if it's not a cure, but you're telling me I can still catch it? I know someone, and this was recent, that someone that is fully vaccinated and they had to go to the hospital. They went to the hospital, fully vaccinated too. And then there were news stations saying some people that were fully vaccinated also died from COVID. Even people that were unvaccinated died from COVID. So it's pretty much at this point where it's like, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, I would say, in my opinion, is to boost your immune system. You know, balance. I read, I did a blog about this on the website.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matter of fact, let me share my screen. I did this back in like, hold on. I did this back in pandemic times. Hold on.
It's during the pandemic, so like last year.
During the pandemic.
We were still in a pandemic.
It is still a pandemic. And this is what I said, things that weren't mentioned while we were quarantined. This was back in, come on. Like, clean your house, take out the trash, like, you know, because it boosts your immune system. Wash your face masks, even if it's, you know, reusable. Take a shower, even if you're running essential or non-essential errands. The most important thing, boost your immune system. Boost your immune system. That is whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, boost your immune system. It's all about immunity.
Those are all positive messages.
No, and stay healthy. Stay healthy. And that
those
goes back to, come on.
So those are all necessary things
with
that you need.
Yeah.
I'm not those are all necessary in order for you to live a nice, stable, healthy life. But
yes.
but I'm currently going through the CDC right now talking about the COVID vaccine and what they guarantee, and this is the CDC, so they're government sponsored. And I know people are skeptical of the government, but
of course,
and rightly so. But I also believe that when it comes to public health, especially in an emergency crisis like this, the United States government and the federal government are incentivized to make sure that its citizens are healthy, if at the very least because of the economics of it all. If the world is on a freeze, money can't be made, right? And money makes the world go round, and the federal government is run through money, so they would want something that would ensure that the money continues to flow. In order for the money to flow, you have to have a healthy population. So that's my logic before I even start reading what the CDC says about the vaccine. And even though there are variants out there that people that are vaccinated are still susceptible to, like the Delta variant, what cannot be denied is that the vaccine can help lessen symptoms. So even if you do catch the COVID virus after you're vaccinated, what is 100% guaranteed is that your symptoms are going to be lessened with the vaccine than without it, because the body already has some sort of idea of what it's dealing with before you get the foreign virus into your immune system. You know, and that's why I think it's important for everybody to get the vaccine. And hell, Deshaun, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens is a perfect example. I think I disagree with the decision not to get the vaccine after he got the virus the first time, because he caught it the second time and put his entire team in jeopardy. You know, I think the vaccine can do so much good for the environment if people were just a little more willing to look at the data and to look at the logic before making a final decision on it.
So the thing about it is that even if you're fully vaccinated and you catch COVID, you still have to quarantine and you're still in jeopardy of your teammates. Now, this is not up for debate, but that's your opinion of things of either vaccinated or unvaccinated. One thing what I do not like, once again, if you want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. If you want to if my opinion is, if you are unvaccinated and you don't want to be vaccinated, then, see if you can boost your immune system, take black seed oil, sea moss, all of that stuff, and, balanced life, and do what you got to do to stay healthy for unvaccinated, vaccinated too also. My thing is that what people do not like, and that people in society are very skeptical, is that they keep saying, if you take this vaccine, you're going to get $100. If you take this vaccine, you can go to a free amusement park. If you take this vaccine, then you can go free anywhere. If you don't take this vaccine, then you won't be allowed to go to restaurants. If you don't take this vaccine, then you won't be allowed to go to gyms. That's where it's coming from, as society is saying vaccinated versus unvaccinated. You see how divided that is? But one thing we are forgetting is healthy immune system. That's what I'm an advocate for. Whether it's like,
That's something I think that's something I think everybody on this podcast is a proponent of, right? Everybody wants everybody to have a natural, healthy, a healthy immune system developed through natural, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. What about you, TC? What you got to say?
Yeah, Joey, what are your thoughts?
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless what you do, it's just a very hard decision to go by.
Yes.
Because like we said, you could be vaccinated, but at the end of the day, you still have a chance of catching it. Yes, your
Absolutely.
likelihood is less than the average person. But at the end of the day, the government has their ways and they know how to get people vaccinated. Like now with jobs and stuff, if you're not vaccinated, you have to get a COVID test every week now for a lot of companies. And they already know the average person is not going to get stuff up their nose every week. That's going to be very tedious. Meanwhile, they just get the vaccination, get it done with, you go to work, no problem. So I just felt like at the end of the day, we're all going to get vaccinated at some point. You know, they can't really tell you you have to get it because it's against the law, but they'll find ways to do it. Like, hey, I'm vaccinated. I have my reasons. It's a weird situation that we're in. And the thing is, too, what's so weird about this pandemic, we are the type of generation that's experienced this pandemic that is alive. Pandemics that happened before, countless people is dead. You know? It's a weird time we live in. Like, it's a first for all of us to go through stuff.
Well, I mean, if you take a look at history, the fact that we are in a time period where, yes, millions of people did die because of the pandemic, but because of the technological age we live in, it's not like the Spanish flu from 100 years ago. You know, more people died from the Spanish flu than people that died as casualties from World War I. And when you think about those numbers, tens of millions of people died on the battlefield in World War I. Tens of millions of people died on the Western Front in World War I. So the fact that a flu did more damage than that, you think about those numbers, and then you think back even further to like the bubonic plague, where I think the numbers was like, it was 1/3 of all of the European population was decimated by the by the bubonic plague. I mean, can you imagine that? Just taking a look at 3 people and just knowing that one of them is going to die. It's a wake up call to the advantage of the times that we live in, and to appreciate and to take advantage of the medical marvels that we have been blessed to witness and take advantage of.
Yeah.
You know? I think history is a great reminder as to what we should do during similar times.
Well, right now, history is just repeating itself. But like you said, we're in a stage that we have the tools to correct things versus what they had back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's just, I understand why people don't want to get vaccinated because let's all be honest. The government has some really crooked ways. And
the government, I mean, from redlining to the government institution of the New Deal while simultaneously excluding Black people from the advantage.
Oh man, that's a conversation. That's the
that's
whole different conversation. That's the whole different conversation.
That's an episode
we could talk about Reaganomics and the crack epidemic in the Black community. The government
again, Nyron, you bringing up stuff that is a whole nother new episode. So yeah,
I gotta put my smart glasses on for that one.
Right?
I'll be pointing back to that. Like.
Word. One thing before, because I know time is into us. I want to bring back to the point where you said, as you get older, you know, you are running with time or something. You said it like that, right? Like time.
Against the clock.
Huh?
You're running against the clock.
Exactly. So I didn't get a chance to like. And that was a bar that you said is because that is an everyday human being. That's an everyday human being. Thoughts. You're running against the clock. Time waits for nobody. You feel what I'm saying? Time waits for nobody. But as we, get into this world, it's like things that we were trained to do, taught when we run against the clock. And now when we get older, it's like we still is in education mode. It's because education is a never-ending process, whether you're 40, 50, 60. You feel what I'm saying? So you're still running against the clock no matter what. It does not end. So now it's up to us of the discipline of like, okay, this is what we need to do in our life to make sure we are happy of things we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Running against the clock. But that was a ball. You know what? That's this podcast is been about, running against the clock.
No, it's true. Like when it comes to careers, health, anything, time is always going to be, I don't want to say enemy, that's a bit too much, but we always run against the clock, for anything.
I recently saw this movie. I recommend it for anybody that really wants to watch a film instead of a movie. If you really want to get into a film, it was called 9 Days. It has I want to call her Zazie Beetz. She's the girlfriend in Atlanta. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Just give me 1 second. Who was it? 9 Days. Yeah, Zazie Beetz was in it. Winston Duke was in it. You know the guy that played M'Baku.
Okay. Winston
Duke?
Duke?
He played M'Baku. In Black Panther. Pennywise, the guy that played Pennywise in the It movie, he's in it. Anyway,
the current It movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy that played It in the movie. Anyway, the premise goes as follows. M'Baku Winston Duke, he is what they call a viewer, and what he does all day is view the lives of people living their everyday lives. And there are these souls that have never experienced life before, and his job is to interview these souls and to determine in 9 days whether or not they get the privilege of experiencing life. And I'm not going to get into all the details about what happens in the movie, but I left that movie thinking to myself, every day is a gift. And even though you should never forget that you're running out of time, you should still have the presence of mind to know the time that you're in and appreciate the time that you're in.
Ooh.
You know,
say that again.
Yep.
And when you appreciate the time that you're in, all the mundane acts that you would take for granted suddenly become more profound. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what that movie taught me, and I think it just ties into the idea that we are running against time, and we should try to take advantage of every moment, but never forget the fact that you're in the moment.
Yep. There you go.
Honestly,
that's it.
That's a lesson to live by.
Podcast is over. Podcast is over.
No, Nara. Honestly, that's a lesson that people of all ages need to live by.
Yep.
Because that's one thing, like I talked about earlier, being still. Time is against us, but also to, like you said, you have to learn to be still and enjoy what's in front of you. Because a lot of us will be so fast to say to chase the money. But at the end of the day, you chase all this money, how are you going to enjoy your money? You know? You just work yourself to death, and somebody else is going to grab your money and just enjoy the money that you work hard for.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. And we sort of need society to allow us the space to appreciate the moments that we have. And I don't think society, especially when it comes to government policies and the economic policies that we've endured over the last 20 to 30 years, I don't think society has given us as much space and leeway as we once had to really enjoy ourselves. Our focus is so much more on the dollar for survival than ever before, outside of the Great Depression, maybe. So it's hard to
That's
see
why
the forest through the trees, you know?
that's why 2020 was important to just breathe, because it's like you get to actually sit down and actually do what you do. You ain't had to worry about going to work. You ain't had to worry about none of that. And that's very important what you said, is because we are in society now where the dollar is, um what's his name, one of the, one of the leaders in he has his own, what's his, Terrence, yeah, Terrence, that's our guy. He was a guest on our podcast. He said this country is run by bread. This country is run by bread, son. That's what he said. And he is a business owner that said that.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
remember him saying that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not lying. He's not lying. It's just that I think the fallacy in a lot of what we do is that we don't believe that we are interconnected. I think we think too many. I think we have this notion of individualism that doesn't really exist, because what I do for my profession could affect what you do for your profession, which could affect what somebody else does for their profession. And if I don't do my job, so many other things around me could collapse, unforeseen to me, that it's impossible for you to think that you can just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and gain your own freedom by just working as hard as you possibly can. That might be true, but only to a certain extent. You gotta be, I think for a lot of people, you have to remember that you're part of a society. You're part of a system. I think that's why it's important that we go back to the beginning of the podcast when I asked if there are any pharmacies, if all the pharmacies were to shut down today, could you survive? And the answer is no, because you're connected to it.
Yeah.
You need it to
Yes. That's
survive.
facts.
It
Yes.
needs you to survive,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but those are my thoughts on the pandemic and health and individualism. We're all part of the system, and
What you said today is
you know,
you didn't say anything wrong, and it's a lot of
Word.
truth.
That
uh-huh.
is a lot
You
of
know,
truth.
for both of you.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
as we get to a conclusion of this podcast, is there any last words we gotta say before we be out?
I want to say this, guys, expect more episodes like this where it's just us talking. And we like for you guys to get to know us even more because we want to connect with you guys. And, I know we're going to do the closest messages, but I just want to say this again. Feel free to leave messages. We'd love
Yes,
to hear from you guys, honestly.
absolutely. How can they follow you, TC?
Just find me on TC Payne, Payne on Instagram. And also, too, I mentioned this before in a past episode, I'm getting ready to stream on Twitch. Just getting things ready, and work is just crazy and stuff. So that's what's taking a while. But anyway, you can find me at TC Games on twitch.com in the near future. I'll let you guys know more information when the time comes.
Yep. Naron.
Final messages. Yeah, I would really love your thoughts, audience, on what you thought about this podcast without anybody to really interview. Your critiques are what going to help. Is the critiques you guys give is what's going to enable us to provide a better product for you. In terms of following me, I have a Facebook. It's Myron McDon, Nyron space McDon, McDon. I think my Instagram is Darth Nyron. I'm not really that big of an Instagrammer, but you can find me there. And that's all I got.
Yep. There we go.
What about you,
Running
Diamond?
against time. Running against time. Yo, there was a lot of Jews we put in. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Running against time. And when just that word itself is like when we run against time, it's like this is like I said, this is the everyday person that thinks about this in the daily basis when they just talking to themselves,
Yeah.
or when they say talking to God, talking to the consciousness. You feel what I'm saying? Run against time. That's a bar, not wrong. Definitely.
It's such a universal saying that anybody can understand.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much it. You can follow me, Diamond Cash Rich. Make sure you follow the business page, DC Incentives 4. Facebook page we got is Diamond Cash Incentives. Y'all really serious about we should have a Facebook group? Y'all serious? We should do this?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Leave it to the audience.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let them speak.
All right, so give us feedback. Just like I said, message us, post comments, everything, and see if you would like to build a Facebook group community. Let's go. Word. All right. Well, that's about it. We are out.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.